It begins not with madness, but with a choice. When the world becomes too narrow for the human spirit, a fissure opens in perception. Alonso Quijano, a man of minor nobility and major solitude, arrives at this threshold, looks at the world and senses that something essential is missing. Life functions, the days move forward, the facts align, and yet nothing lifts the heart. The world works, but it does not sing. This quiet absence is not dramatic, but it is unbearable. When reality offers survival without meaning, the soul begins to ask for more. And so, not in rage or despair, but in tenderness, Alonso Quijano makes a choice. He becomes Don Quixote de la Mancha. This transformation is not an escape from reality. It is an act of care toward it. Don Quixote refuses to believe that the world must remain as uninspired as it appears. He chooses to see it as it could be. A barber's basin becomes a golden helmet. A roadside inn becomes a castle. Windmills rise as giants against the horizon. A peasant woman becomes Dulcinea, not because she asked to be, transformed, but because someone finally saw her as worthy of devotion. This is not blindness, it is generosity. A windmill grinds grain, it keeps bodies alive. But a giant asks something more. A giant demands courage. A giant gives life a direction. Don Quixote chooses giants because he believes that a life without aspiration, without danger, without beauty, is a life only half-lived. He does not walk alone. Beside him is Sancho Panza, grounded and practical, loyal in his own way. Sancho sees the world clearly. He understands hunger, fear, and consequence. Where Don Quixote lifts his gaze, Sancho keeps his feet on the road. Between them unfolds not a conflict, but a friendship. Dream and reality walk together. Idealism speaks and realism replies. Their conversations are not arguments meant to defeat the other, but attempts to understand how one should live. They fail often. They are bruised, mocked, and misunderstood. The world does not reward their sincerity. Windmills do not yield to noble intentions. Crowds laugh where one hopes for admiration. Reality reminds them again and again that meaning is not efficient. Yet something remarkable persists. Don Quixote does not grow bitter. Even in defeat, he insists on kindness, on honor, on the dignity of strangers. And slowly, quietly, Sancho begins to change. He repeats the ideals he once doubted. He governs when given power, not with cruelty, but with fairness. The dream, lived sincerely enough, begins to teach even those who laughed at it. In the later chapters, the world grows cleverer. It stages illusions. It plays along, not out of belief, but amusement. Society is willing to perform fantasy as long as it remains harmless, contained, unserious. Still, Don Quixote continues to act with grace inside the fiction. Even when the world treats him as entertainment, he treats it as a moral stage. Then quietly, the story ends, not with triumph, but with rest. Don Quixote lets go of his dream. Alonso Quijano returns. He recovers his reason, and shortly after, he dies. This is the novel's softest sorrow. Not that the dreamer was wrong, but that the dream was relinquished. The world calls this healing. It calls it peace. But something warm goes out with him, something fragile and luminous. Because while the windmills still turn, efficient and useful, the giants are gone, and what remains is the question Don Quixote leaves behind for us. Is a world that functions enough? Is it sufficient to live accurately? If we do not live meaningfully, Don Quixote believed that life should feel like a story worth telling, that courage matters even when it fails, that kindness is never foolish, that dignity is something we give, not something we earn. And perhaps that is his quiet gift, not an invitation to abandon reality, but a reminder to soften it, to enlarge it, to treat it as something that can still become beautiful. Because a world without giants may be safer, but it is the giants that teach us why the soul once learned how to hope.